Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while?
Do you want to know what it is?
There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
There's a special rug in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch.
He peed on my rug!
He peed on the dude's rug.
Do your worst.
Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome to your feature presentation. I am your host, Heath Ball. Today we are talking about movies coming out this weekend and Super Troopers versus Helldivers. Dun, 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 dun. Joining me today is Andrew McKay.
Welcome back to the front lines, Heath.
I have been fighting for democracy pretty hard.
Really?
My line, I play Helldivers a lot, and my line with my wife is I'll be like, I think I'm going to dive a little bit. I'm going to dive real quick. And I'll go play Helldivers.
I'm going to go diving.
I'm going to go dive. I'll take a quick dip in the pool that is fighting for democracy. I'll hit Super Earth. But yeah, so we've got a couple movies coming out just the one movie coming out this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Inside Out 2.
Yeah, coming out June 14th. We're just following Riley in her teenage years when she's encountering new emotions. That's about it. Yeah, new emotions for Riley, but same characters, same parents. From my understanding, same actors, and with an addition of some new emotions. So that would be great.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I really love the first one. Did you enjoy the first one there?
Oh, yeah. So fun, so original. That's like one of the better Pixar, like most recent. That was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think it was almost exactly that far ago. I was trying to rewatch it. And my daughter's only 2, but I've been trying some like Pixar movies and see if she wants to watch it like a little bit. We try to minimize screen time, so don't come after me. But she did not like it, and I don't know why. It just like the emotions came out, and she just kept being like, "I don't like it," and I was like, "Okay, we don't have to." Miss Rachel, we go.
Yes, classic.
Yes. Do you have a? I don't know. It's probably. I mean, I feel like Pixar is pretty safe. They're pretty consistent, so I like the first one. I think if you like the first one, you'll enjoy the second one. So that's coming out this weekend, and that's exciting.
Yeah, so Helldivers
yes.
and Starship Troopers, Heath.
Mm-hmm.
You initially started this conversation because I have never played Helldivers and had never seen Starship Troopers. However, I have watched a plethora of game footage, and I've watched a lot of stuff on the lore of Helldivers, the political system, and I watched Starship Troopers for this episode. So it's not a movie talk. We're not doing a full-fledged movie talk here. We're just talking similarities, differences, right?
Yeah, it's basically kind of like a mini movie talk, and with a little bit of the how these are similar properties, like in a fun way. And I've got a little game for you, my friend.
Oh, I'm excited.
I've got a little trivia game is what I'm going to say, is this Starship Troopers or Helldivers? Okay.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I basically am like using like game and movie. I'm just going to say like property. Okay. So that way it's not giving away, what this is.
Sure.
So this property features soldiers fighting against giant insect-like aliens on various planets to protect humanity. Helldivers or Starship Troopers?
To protect humanity, I'm going to say Starship Troopers.
The answer is both.
Oh, shut up. Come on.
Okay, here's another one. In this property, the government is depicted as a highly militarized authoritarian. Oh my gosh, what word is that?
Authoritarian.
There we go. Regime that promotes aggressive propaganda and enforces a mandatory military service. Helldivers or Starship Troopers?
Starship Troopers.
The answer is both.
Oh my gosh. I don't like this game.
Okay. Let's try another one.
Okay.
In this property, there is original novel by Herbert A. Heinlein before adapted to its current form. So which one of these is based on a book?
Starship Troopers.
That's the correct answer.
Hey, let's go. You tried to trick me with both, didn't you?
Yep. I was like, should they all? I just thought that was cracking me up.
They're all 5 questions, all both.
Okay. So this property is known for its cooperative gameplay where Helldivers.
Regis, I'm gonna go with Helldivers.
I meant to cut out, honestly. I meant to not say, like, I messed that question up. So that very much gives it away. That's Helldivers. Let's see. Okay. Here's another one. So this property includes a satirical take on militarism, uses of propaganda, which is a narrative to critique society.
Starship Troopers.
It's Bull.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here. So technically I'm not wrong. I'm just not the most right.
Right. It's like when the answer is 100%, but they're both 100% somehow, that's where your bait is.
Mm-hmm.
So this was you just watch Starship Troopers for this. So what's your initial thoughts? Like, do you like it? Like, what's your kind of just quick rundown of what you thought about the movie?
Yeah, I did like it. It was fun. I've heard a lot about it. Not really like content, but just that it has a cult following and has had that following for a really long time. So obviously I've never understood it, but I can see like why people love this movie. It's really fun. It's funny. It's gruesome. It's like action packed in a Starship Troopers kind of way. Like there's not really a lot of other action comedies like that. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts. I think it's comical how gorgeous every person is. Just drop dead gorgeous. The men, the women, everyone is like a model. So I was 10 minutes into the movie.
The chins.
And I was like, the chins. Dude's got just
chin.
We should watch this movie in 3D just to see that guy's chin.
The men, the women, they all have giant, beautiful, athletic model chins.
Not just the men, but the women and the children.
The children. And the bugs. And
the bugs do have big chins too.
They do.
Yeah, so I can't say that I've seen Casper Van Dien in anything else. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen Denise Richards in some stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. I think I was 10 minutes into this movie and I thought there's absolutely no way that these people are even a decade within high school years, because the school that they start off in is supposed to be a high school.
Really?
Yes,
I always assumed it was like further education. That makes it
no.
weird.
I looked it up, and it's a high school. It's like a prep high school. And at the time of release, almost all of the main actors were between 27 and 29 years old,
which is actually younger than they look in the movie.
Yes, exactly. They look solidly 32, 34.
Exactly.
And so that was it didn't pull me out of the movie, but it just solidified that this movie was 90s, early 2000s, and it was released in 97. So that tracks. But casting high schoolers with 28-year-olds is super 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was this whole era of like 90s as like, man, like the first Screen movie, it's like, these are clearly like 20-year-olds. How are they supposed to be like underclassmen? It's like, I can't wait until 4 years till we're seniors.
Yeah,
I also don't know what voice this is. Uh-oh, is this our friend coming back?
That's I think they call that the like Atlantic Hollywood accent.
Oh, there you go. Atlantic.
Hey, see here, buddy. Because like no one in the 50s and 60s actually talked like that.
Right.
It was a an accent they developed to be in the movies.
Like their stage voice,
Yeah,
basically.
like a stage voice. Yeah, yeah. A pseudo accent, if you will.
Something I want to
Speaking
bring
of
up.
pseudo.
Oh, pseudo.
Pseudoscience? No, you can bring up your thing and I'll talk about my pseudoscience.
Whoa. Okay, great. I just want to shout out to Michael Ironside. So he's the teacher at the beginning and becomes like I can't remember, he's like a surgeon or something. He's such a cool actor. He's always like not always a villain, but he's always an intense presence, you know? So he's the teacher / like sergeant in this, and then he's the villain in Free Willy. He's the one that wants to kill the whale. Which I
That's
love.
why I hated that guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, you didn't realize that's what he's from?
No.
Which I love. I love classic villains that are like, his motivation is like, I want to kill that whale for the insurance money.
Yeah.
It's like who does that? Like,
like also you're not going to get away with that.
Yeah, it's like, who shot this whale? I think it died of natural causes.
Yeah, give me my money.
He was also Darkseid in the old Justice League cartoons. He's got a great voice. And I just
can see the voice for sure.
Yeah, and I just love his name, Michael Ironside. It's like, yeah, that's an imposing figure. So,
that's amazing.
All right, now let's go to your.
I want to mention before we get into contrasting with Helldivers. I want to mention those bugs that are launching some sort of plasma ammunition into space,
quote unquote,
at those spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
When they're performing, they're like, okay, we're gonna go attack this. They're gonna land and do an assault and stuff. So it appears on these planets that gravity is similar, like really close to Earth. And I'm a space guy. I like space stuff.
Your hat literally
hat on.
That's SpaceX.
Yes, SpaceX. I saw those bugs like line up with their big butts and a plasma rocket from the surface of the planet past orbit out of the atmosphere and strike and destroy armored spaceships. And I was like, this is the final straw. And it was like halfway. It was like 40 minutes into the movie. I was like, I can't do this. I hate this. It takes 10 to 20 minutes for a spaceship to go from stationary on our Earth's surface, 10 to 20 minutes to get out into orbit. And they have to be going 17,000 miles an hour, Heath. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that bug out a plasma dookie that gained speed up to 17,000 miles an hour, broke through Earth's gravity, and struck detrimentally a spaceship. That's insane. That's the craziest thing of this whole movie to me.
Also, band name
Plasma Space Dookie.
Which I think the movie, you start this movie and you're like, this is stupid. But I think it wins you back around because it knows exactly what it is. Like, this is
for sure
satirical, over the top movie. Like, I don't know. It's like I could see someone quitting in the first 10 minutes. Like, what is this movie? But then if you power through a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think it's one of those movies where I would say the people making the movie knew what it was, but the actors don't know what it is.
Yeah, like
they're playing it as straight as can be.
Yeah, I feel like as the director, you would have to constantly remind people, hey, this is a funny movie, but not to you.
Yes.
This is the performance of a lifetime to you, which makes it funnier.
Right. It's only funny if they take it seriously. That's a great point.
So
maybe they were in the know and they were just acting.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But so to you, what do you think this movie is? Like you mentioned, um, it's like a satirical take on like a militaristic government. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like,
No.
what is this movie to you? How would you like describe it?
Yeah, which originally, when I first started playing Helldivers, the opening scene is so much an homage to this. Like, we'll link it in this episode, but just like the opening scene of Helldivers is so much like this is Starship Troopers, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that was what kind of got us into this idea first. But Starship Troopers, it's interesting because it's like a dark comedy kind of take, but I would say there's some, right now it'd be like whatever the fear of AI is,
Sure.
this fear of nationalism, maybe imperialism, if those are
fascism.
fascism. Wonderful. What movie is that? But I just
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hot Fuzz.
What?
My goal is now to bring up Hot Fuzz. They're playing a crossword.
Is that
fascist? 7 across when they're playing the crossword, and she goes, "Actually, I think it's fascism." It's fascism. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wow, that's great.
Wow.
So I think does play to like what that, maybe not like a fear of it, but like that what if kind of scenario. Like what if a government fully militarizes? And I think that's a big part of Helldivers too, is it's like everyone is like wink wink, but like we're liberating planets. I mean, it's the same thing in this. It's like you're liberating places, but like you're attacking them, like,
yeah,
and you're conquering them. Did they actually attack you? Like there's a lot of like, behind the scenes, like what's actually going on. And this movie's big on that too. Just like, I think this movie is a lot more subtle with it. Like Helldivers is like, we're liberating this planet, but like, they never did anything to us, like straight up. And it's like, no, we're liberating them, or
they're oppressed. This planet is being oppressed by their like indigenous whatever they have. We haven't even really looked into what they have, but we're going to give them what we have, and that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that Starship Troopers and Helldivers are in the same canon. That's my fan. That's my fan take. I want them to be in the same canon because it makes sense to me.
And I believe you said you wanted it your way. Is that right? That's what you said. You said I want it my way.
I was asked if I wanted it my way, and I said no. You can have it your way. Your rule. BK, have it your way.
I was going in sync. I love that you took it to BK.
I went to Burger King. Welcome to Burger King, brother. No, so I think my fan, there's no licensing, no studios that have to talk to each other. I think that Helldivers is the same universe as Starship Troopers, but specifically the type of movie that I think Helldivers is, and I got this from an online forum, so I think this is pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is accurate.
It's on the internet, so.
It's on the internet, so it's probably true. I think that it seems like Helldivers is an in-universe propaganda film for the in-universe high schoolers. Are you tracking? So, Starship Troopers is a movie made
for Helldivers,
for like these high schoolers in a fake universe.
Oh,
Starship Troopers is a movie that is propaganda
over people who are in that situation, like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I think that this is how Starship Troopers works, based on what I read, is that this movie that we are seeing is actually an in-universe propaganda movie that the government created, which is why it's so cheesy, which is why they take themselves so seriously, in order to get those fictitious high schoolers to sign up, because that's what the whole movie's about. It's like, join now. You want more information? Here we go. Mm-hmm. They provide such transparency in this movie where it's like really jarring. Like, why are you showing me this Mormon convent that went out and settled this location, and why are you showing me their like exploded heads?
Mm-hmm.
If you want this to like work out, like if you don't want me to think that some things are wrong, but how Starship Troopers presents the faults of society, never let the faults go back to the government. They always have the fault rest on the individual people acting of their own accord. So if you are going to do what's right and be a good citizen and like have the citizenship and stuff, you're going to do what you're told. But if you're going to do what is not good, that might be making your own settlement and then the bugs kill you. That might be like disobeying orders or whatever, like not signing up for military service. You don't get the right to vote. That's another interesting thing about the Starship Troopers universe. You can only vote and partake in this like pseudo democracy if you served in the military.
Yeah. Man, and that really made me think too that everyone is like the best version of themselves, really.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could watch this and identify with any character and be pretty happy. Like, even the relationships, like, hey, you might have a high school sweetheart. You'll go do your own thing. That'll feel good to do your own thing. And you're going to get the girl. Like, don't worry about it. Like, or you're going to break up with that old boyfriend of yours and you're going to go and you're going to pilot a starship.
Pursue your dreams.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone's path is really good, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's really interesting that it's like a 4 Starship Troopers people. That's a really cool thought.
Yeah. I read that after I finished the movie and it all clicked. I was like, oh man, that's why, like, oh, if you go to this academy, like if you're a high school student and you enlist and you're playing sports, you're the all-star and you go to your prom, your senior prom, you're going to have sex because you and your girlfriend just agreed to enlist together. And there's nothing that brings you together like enlisting in
the military.
Government military service.
And you get
and it's like,
voting is sexy.
Anytime some sort of like military decision or action is made, it's reinforced. This is the propaganda that's coming in. It's reinforced. They're trying to like reaffirm. So like they have their first mission on whatever planet it was. They do well. They kill the bugs. They nuke a bug hole. And their like lieutenant or whoever it is, the guy who's in charge, is like, here's the beer, here's the entertainment. Have fun. That's an order. And it's like, oh, these guys just got to shoot up some bugs and now they're drinking and throwing footballs. It's so funny.
Are we talking Nerf? Are we?
It's Nerf or nothing, baby.
The most awkward I've seen, you know, I'm a fan, but Michael Ironside throw a Nerf football. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
it's like half of it is like wrapped in aluminum foil, so it's shiny and futuristic.
Yeah. It's a future football.
Yeah, but that's the entirety of Starship Troopers, is like trying to convince you that this is like the coolest thing you could ever do, even though you're watching your friends die, which we're transparent about. Like, we tell you, hey, those people, they're gonna die gruesome, terrible deaths. But how cool is that?
Well, and I think most people, you either are in the frame of like the people who die poorly are like, well, that's not me, or they have like a
side characters
that's like, oh, that's how I want to go. Like, what's the I feel bad. The second chick, the main character is like,
oh, Dizzy,
like
Dizzy.
She goes out cool, so you're like, yeah, if I go, that's how I want to go. You know.
Well, that one, like, she goes out, like, she dies in the evacuation craft, but she goes out because she like threw that grenade, Jaws style, into the mouth of the bug. So you're absolutely right. Or the other guy, he's in Fear the Walking Dead, and he's in the regular The Walking Dead show. Seth Gilliam.
Oh,
Seth Gilliam. He's Sugar Watkins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. he goes out with the nuke in his hand. He's like,
Right.
get out of here, brother. Give me the nuke. I want to go down killing some bugs or something like that. And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason I think this is in universe, like this is a propaganda movie for the people who are Helldivers, is because that kind of stuff happens all the time. It's like everyone's like, for democracy. And like they're just going down, guns blazing. They're like, everyone else get out of here. I'm going to throw this bomb right here next to me to blow up these bugs.
Yeah. That's really cool. So in your headcanon, that like people who are Helldivers like watch this movie.
Yes,
They're like,
absolutely.
this is I like the way that looks. That's cool. It's so fun to see some of those similarities. And man, you are blowing my mind with that whole idea that like this isn't like it's a movie that's not for us. It's for the people who live in this universe. Like that's such a cool idea. I also want to bring up real quick, I thought was so cool that I pat myself on the back. When I described this movie to you, I think that was like I said it as I was thinking about it. And I was like, this is like a parody Aliens, you know?
Oh,
like
yeah.
But then I was like, I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, I bet you this is one of those things where like the Space Marines from Aliens, like this is another mission for them. Like this is like, so because in Aliens, they talk about the mission setup, right? And game over, man. Game over.
It's game over.
That guy, he says, it's another bug hunt. So like they are killing bugs. So Helldivers, Super Troopers, my gosh, Starship Troopers. We'll talk about that in a second. All in the same universe. Okay, so I kept telling Andrew we need to do this episode. I have said Super Troopers instead of Starship Troopers so many times.
Your favorite movie is Hot Fuzz, and is Super Troopers not like in that same category?
I would not put them in the same category.
Oh,
but
my bad.
they're both delightful.
Heath, I'm so sorry.
Okay, just because they're satirical cop movies, it's not the same thing.
That's pretty similar to me.
I was gonna say we should actually do a like little breakdown of those two movies because those are really similar.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow. So this is I got some Iraq war, like Iraq Afghanistan vibes from this one, but this is 97.
Oh,
right. So this is pre 9/11, pre most people's like, I guess to put it lightly, like go get them, go get the terrorists mentality, right? Yeah. And it clicked for me that this was like the government in Starship Troopers, and I think the government in Helldivers is an interpretation of Nazi Germany fascism. And it clicked for me that this was the case in Starship Troopers when Neil Patrick Harris comes back. He's a colonel, and he's like talking to them like, what, you're going to be mad at me because I said you guys down there to die? Well, get used to it. Like he's kind of doing that stuff. They're dressed exactly like Nazis.
Yeah.
Like they come in with the big, tall black hats and the overcoats, and you're like, oh no. And then you look over like at Denise Richards' character, and she's got like this gray coat with black emblems on it, and you're like, oh no. And then you see Neil Patrick Harris's hat, and it has an eagle on it, and you're like, oh, these guys are Nazis.
Frickin' Nazis, man.
Frickin' Nazis. But that's exactly like you mentioned. This is like a movie where the entire government, country, the world, like the whole planet at this point, the whole planet is a militarized culture. And that's exactly what Nazi Germany was. All the propaganda pushing into going to the military, serve for like all of this war stuff. And they had so many different reasons to do that, whether it's benefits or like cultural, like this is our duty. type obligations. That was definitely like an inspiration for them, I think.
That's a really cool way to put it too, because I always took it as like, this is like the US if it was like the worst parts of it continued and were,
Oh yeah.
100 years down the road. But I like that idea of them putting a fascist government in control that are Nazis, but they don't say they're Nazis, and we're in their perspective. And so we don't naturally go like, well, these guys are Nazis. It's like, they don't let them vote unless they are in the military, and if you're not able to vote, if you're not a citizen, right? That's what they call it. You're not a citizen.
Yeah.
You don't have certain rights. You're basically, second class. And
Oh yeah.
that's such a cool way of them making that. It's like, man, you could make, like, if you somehow could make a World War II movie from a Nazi German perspective, but you took out all the things that made that they're Nazis, like, what would that look like as a story that's like from their side? It's like, well, I was told to join the military because it's a good thing for me to do. My parents are good company people. They're good government people. I'm going to go. And there's all this propaganda telling me about the evils. We just talked about Schindler's List and how all the evils of, they were demonizing like Jewish people with all this propaganda, and they're rat people and they're subhuman. And you're just like, especially like you as a like a young person, you're like, well, I guess that's true. It's like,
Right.
man, it gets real serious real quick.
Oof. Yeah. I think, okay, on the same vein, the same thing. This is the last thing that I have to say about this. This reminded me of Men Against Fire, which was a Black Mirror episode. Do you watch Black Mirror?
I've seen the first couple seasons. I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
Okay, it was season 3, episode 5. So the premise, I'll read a little synopsis here. In the future, soldiers must protect frightened villagers from an infestation of vicious, feral mutants. One soldier begins to experience strange sensations during his first battle. So in this Black Mirror episode, there's like feral ghouls and mutants or whatever that are endangering the people that they care about, their citizens, their people. And so the soldiers are tasked with like wiping out the infestation. And ultimately, like, spoilers, if you want to watch it, I'm going to ruin it right now. So pause it and come back. But the trooper takes his helmet off. Like, he's got this big helmet on with like his HUD display and all this information and stuff. And it turns out that the infested mutants are just regular people, but they're just like not from their country, or they're not from their, like, not where they're supposed to be. They're like immigrants trying to come in to seek shelter.
Yeah.
And they're like killing all of them. And that was the vibe I got from Starship Troopers as well. I was like, what did these aliens do to you? Like, if these guys, if all the soldiers had little like vision protectors on, I would think that these were actual people and not bugs, But then you realize this is just a propaganda movie for the in-universe high schoolers. Who's to say that they aren't killing people, right?
Yeah, they're fighting like
say that
humanoids.
Yeah, who's to say that the people that they're killing are bugs and not humanoids, right?
Yeah. Well, that's such an easier.
Crazy.
That's such an easier way to call someone to fight too, right? It's like, they're evil, they're disgusting bug things. Like, that's who we're fighting.
And it's so interesting that Starship Troopers is a story that has been told through hundreds of years, multiple times, of like what man will do to dehumanize other men. Well, we're getting crazy on this pod, man.
We're getting deep. And I was going to say Starship Troopers is a movie that's not that good. It's kind of fun, and it's also at the same time brilliant. You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's amazing. It's one might say a tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time. Yeah.
A song as old as rhyme.
I was going to say, I could not think of the next line. So that's
Starship Troopers is the next line.
Starship Trooper. Oh man,
Well, those are my thoughts. I think
that's great.
I'll get back to you when I play Helldivers.
Yeah,
But
it's a
it
great
does
game.
seem that there are some political differences with Helldivers and Starship Troopers. Like, the reason that I think that the Helldiver characters that you play as in the game are the people who watch the movie is because it's less perfect. Like, I understand that there are missions to like turn off some radio communications, and if you don't turn it off but you like turn it up or you just listen to it, it'll be people talking about like the faults of the government, which you don't encounter at all in Starship Troopers, which just further cements it as propaganda.
Yeah.
And then you have you as the player, as the person who's signed up and enlisted, you start experiencing things like, oh, we're coming to this planet, and there's a radio broadcast that I'm shutting down that has some good points. They have some good perspectives, actually. So that's always interesting.
There's some theories going around too that like there's some automatons, which are like robot type people enemies. And then there's like this, like, are we automatons? Like every time you jump your ship, you come out of basically a cryo ship. And then like everyone on your bridge is like the same for every person. So it's like, are we all clones? And it's like, is my character just a clone? And you play, even when you're playing, if your character dies, the default setting is your person comes back, and you might even be like a different gender because it's like a new Helldiver that you're playing, but it's like the same. It's like it's the same character, but it's like a different
same consciousness.
Yes, and it's just like it's just another body they threw out to fight bug people.
Dude,
yeah,
that's
Helldivers,
crazy.
Starship Troopers, Super Troopers, Hot Fuzz, all
Aliens,
connected.
It's
Aliens,
all the same cinematic universe.
What a good universe too. I like that.
Truly.
Well, that's great. What's our next episode about? I have looked it up.
Yeah,
And I keep
so
forgetting. Best streaming movies. Best movies that went straight to streaming.
Straight to streaming are, if you're lucky, we'll do top 10. We'll rein it back for top 5, but we'll decide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, straight to streaming movies, which is going to be really tough because some of those streaming platforms have shelled out a lot of money to make some pretty good movies. So that'll be an interesting conversation.
I think we'll have to define that a bit. But yeah, basically best movies that have kind of come straight to like streaming. Like basically it was like a high budget movie that's come right there. And I do want to talk about like, this is a whole other subject, but like almost like straight to video. Like there's been some cool movies that like back in the day that did that.
Heath, we're not talking about Roadhouse. Get it off your mind. I'm just kidding. You can talk about Roadhouse if you want.
Oh, we'll bring up Roadhouse. It'll probably No, we already talked about Roadhouse. That's fine. Sweet. Awesome. Well, I was about to just yell at you, take it home, but then you took a sip of your drink. So I was like, oh, wait.
I'll take it home.
I'll fill some time. Take us home.
Hey, welcome home. Welcome home. If you're listening to our full video podcast, you can see me staring into your soul. We do have a full video show.
Game over. Game over.
It's game over, man. We have a full video show on YouTube. You can always find our podcast wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Your Feature Presentation. You can also try following Heath and I personally, but we have private accounts, I think. So good luck. On our Your Feature Presentation page, feel free to comment, like, share with your friends. It helps us grow the channel. Save posts. That's always a big one. That really promotes traffic. So thank you for being with us. We're so happy to talk movies, dip into video games a little bit. Next week, join us for streaming movies. It's going to be a good time. Go see a movie.
Go see a movie.